Hello everyone, my name is Benny, and today I'm going to teach you how to make a Paracord Rosary, as I like to call them, a Seton Rosary after St. Elizabeth Seton. So, I'll get started with the list of materials needed. So, first of all, you're going to need two 11-foot strands of paracord. I put 275, that is the measurement. So when you're going online shopping for paracord, there's different thicknesses. 275 I think is the best. 275 with core. The core is the kind of inner strand that you'll get to see here. Yeah, it's a white strand in the middle. I think it's better if it has that. If you don't, it might just be maybe a little less durable and kind of just squishier in a sense. You're gonna absolutely need a lighter. This is definitely necessary. Sewing scissors, I use a small Swiss Army knife. I find that the Swiss Army knife scissors work incredibly well for cutting paracord. I don't know what it is. Like, this is very durable stuff. Can withstand a lot of pressure. 275 actually stands for 275 pounds of pressure. But scissors, you gotta get a good pair that will break it so that it doesn't fray too much at the end. Then one medal and one cross. You have Elizabeth Seton over here, then an Irish cross, and jump rings if they don't come with jump rings already. So that's about all you will need for this. So once you get your 11-foot strands of paracord, you're going to want to spread it out, and you're going to want to find the exact middle, and you're going to want to tie this knot. Now, obviously, I'm going to show you how to make this knot. This one I just call the Hail Mary knot. There's 2 knots in this entire process, so very easy to do. Take the rope like so. Here, I'm going to try to move it a little closer to the camera. Wrap it around your pointer finger. Cross it over and under. Keep in mind this little cross over here. That's what you absolutely need to make this. And what I like to do is kind of lightly pinch it. You're going to take the dark cord, wrap it around, and put it through, pinching it just to keep its form. Make sure it has that cross. Tighten it like so. And that's what your knot's gonna look like. So it's gonna have the cross on one side and the double on the other side. You can see it on this one too. Cross, double. If it doesn't have that, something's wrong. So you're gonna repeat this process. On the first decade is very important because you want it to be even. So you have your bead that's in the exact center. You're gonna want to count 5. So you're gonna do half a decade on one side and half a decade on another side. This is just so it comes out evenly, because you are starting at the end of the rosary pretty much. Not where the cross is, but actually like the middle of a decade. Around something. Yeah, sometimes I get a little stuck on things. You just got to be mindful and see if you start a little too far to the end, you can pull through. A lot of the process is kind of becoming familiar with the knots. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. We're good. And then I'm going to teach you how to make the diamond knot, or the Our Father bead. Diamond knot can be a little hard to get, but I'm going to try and help you guys along with this. So whenever making a paracord rosary, always do 2 colors. Well, it looks better, and it also kind of helps with coordination. So I take the dark bead, always. I put that one at the bottom, and then I take the lighter bead on top. Or maybe this might be like a pattern, and this will be a solid. That's usually the way I divide it up. You're gonna take the dark one, kind of loop it like that, and then put it right here in front of the white one, the lighter cord. And I will usually put my thumb here just to kind of keep it from moving. Take the white cord, put it under, and take this end, you're gonna put it under itself again and over the dark bead, the dark strand, like such. Remember this knot real quick. This is half the diamond knot, which is called a carex knot, which I will explain later, but it is actually optional to do it later on. You're gonna take this. This is where things can get a little confusing. So you're gonna kind of put it through. The top, like the loop above it is gonna be white, and the loop under it is going to be navy blue. You're gonna take that through. And this next step is the only time we're really gonna touch the dark bead in the diamond knot process other than making the initial loop. You wanna get this to be right next to the white bead, the white strand. So you're gonna take it over, put it over the white strand again. Kind of you can like just kind of shove it and pull through too at times. Like such. And you can already see the shape kind of starting to form. Pull, and there we go. There's our diamond knot. And there's always gonna be some slack. So you kind of just start feeling out different areas and then start pulling the slack through. It won't always mess up, but sometimes it might get stuck. When you're pulling something through, it might get twisted, the cord. So it's always a good idea. Again, I highly recommend this tiny Swiss Army knife because it actually has a little screwdriver, a little flathead that is really good to use for getting knots out, that I'll show you in a minute. Yeah, this one right here. You can easily get in between paracord and get knots out. So you're gonna do this, you're gonna repeat this on the other side, and then you're gonna do 2 more decades over here, alternating, and 2 more over here, also alternating. And I will switch to the other cord now so that you don't have to watch me do this. So this is what it should look like after a while. See, we started about here, did 5, 5, Our Father. I like to alternate on and off, just so so you do like a dark one, white one, dark one, and then you will be left with this. All right, so in this next part, I usually like to, at this point, the darker colored bead, there's gonna be less of it overall. So what I like to do, just because I like to use the scraps for stuff, is I like to measure it out and I see which one's the shorter one. I used a shorter one when tying this because I want to have more scrap to use for other things. Because overall, like you're gonna have a lot of scraps in this. You're not gonna use too much of it. So we're gonna do that carex knot that I told you guys about. That is literally just the diamond knot, but it's just stopped halfway through. This is optional. You don't need it because there is no like centerpiece in a rosary. Let me try to get one for an example for you. Yeah. So some other rosaries, you know, they have like the metal like that's at the center that connects it. You don't really have that in a paracord rosary. So I usually just do the carex knot and then I put the metal and then I do the Our Father and then the 3 Hail Marys. That's just what I deem best. This is a very nice one actually. I like this color combination, turquoise and I think it's orange or red. So you don't have to do this part. You can literally just go right into the Our Father bead, but I kind of like it personally. So here we are. You're gonna take it as we did with the diamond knot again. Get it started in the same manner. Yeah, that's it. That's the carex knot. Again, with the diamond knot, you're gonna with the diamond knot, you're gonna need a little adjusting. So you pull the slack through. The carex especially is like, since it doesn't have so much form, there's a lot of slack, and I notice especially with the lighter cord too. So you kind of have to pull that a little tighter than the rest. Then you will take, now here's a little issue we come over here is we have a lot of fraying at the end. And that's gonna be hard to get the jump ring through. So I always like to just cut it. Makes it a little bit easier. Sorry, I'm looking at all this through my camera right now, so I'm kind of losing track of where my hands are. There we go. Elizabeth Seton. Gonna do your diamond knot again. Another thing to keep in mind is when you're making a rosary, just, you know, you have 11 feet of cord on each side. You want to use it all like evenly. So experimenting with different patterns can be kind of risky at times. Like if you want to do all one, you want to do a rosary of like just one color for every single decade, you would definitely have to adjust the ratio. It's not something I've done. It's not something I necessarily do because it's a little inefficient for my usage of resources. However, it is doable. So you might have to do like maybe like 9 or 8 feet, and like another one as like 13 possibly. But this is a really good way to kind of keep it, it keeps it pretty even. The other pattern that I showed you also keeps it even. It just does look a little convoluted. And then when I always like to switch it off, so you know, dark, white, for the Hail Mary beads. And now another comment I get pretty often is like, oh, there's no actual beads on the rosary, and a lot of people do like the noise, but I will show you in a second that you can absolutely get the clanking of a rosary without the beads, because this one has a lot of opportunities to put metals on it. So in doing this last diamond knot, we want to keep in mind that we have to put this in here, so we're going to make a loop with the diamond knot. So here we have, doing it again. Same kind of order of operations, except we're just gonna put one of these strands back in itself. And it's important to keep in mind that when you're tugging and trying to get rid of all that slack, that you don't tug on this one. So you gotta hold it. Put the cross right through, right here, and then I'm gonna hold this like with my thumb. And so that's the part that's gone through, and this is the part that hasn't, so I know I can tighten it like that. There we go. I also mentioned that I might post a video later about how to make a rosary bracelet. Keep in mind this part too. You don't want to, if you pull it out at this point, then you're gonna have to redo the entire knot. So keep it, tug, tighten it like such. Yeah, making rosary bracelet, you kind of use this process a lot more. Just 10 decades. You do, I think, an Our Father on each side. But actually, no. You can use an Our Father, but I would not recommend it for like the tightening feature for it. It's adjustable, which is nice. So again, important that you have very sharp scissors. I recommend like sewing scissors, and you just like that. Clean cuts close to the cord. Here's like your scrap. Now it's almost done. And now it's time for the lighting. So keep in mind, this part especially, you do not want the loop to fall out, because then there's no chance of you getting another cross on. So just light it like such. Get it hot, and then light and press. And you see it's now kind of molded into the other cord, and that should last a lifetime. The dark piece. Light and smush prevents it from unraveling. Another thing too, these rosaries are quite unbreakable. However, under a lot of pressure, the knots will get messed up. So please don't go out testing if it can actually support 275 pounds. I know this flame is especially high too. It doesn't have to be that high. And definitely don't use a taser one or the electric one. And there you go. So that's how you make a rosary. And I'll show you some examples right now of just some other models you can make. Here we go. And the process overall, like once you get really good at it, takes about 15 minutes. So the same time it takes to pray a rosary. I'll show you this one again. Favorite colors of mine, turquoise and yeah, that kind of orange, red. Really good combo. Mix it up with any kind of cross you want, any metal. You have Catherine de Siena on here. These ones were pretty popular a while ago. I got to bring them back. The 4th of July. American ones. We have American saints on it. Native American Kakatha. And interesting cross here. And then this one was kind of in homage of the first one I ever made, which was the same color combination, but it was like 550 paracord, which was massive, way too big. A little more simple with the cross. You have, I think it's a St. Hubert medal. This one I kind of took with me everywhere. I took it like on trails and all that. Not the best color combination. It's a little hard to differentiate. And last but not least, as I mentioned before, if you want, it's like a lot of clanking in a rosary, here's my personal one. You can add all kinds of metals, get all the noise you want, and they're really easy to add on too. So I show you how to do that too in this video. This one, oh yeah, this one's actually made out of a slightly bigger cord. You can see the size difference. This is like, I think 325, and then that's 275. In order to get extra metals on, you're gonna want to take this little part of the Swiss Army knife, or anything you really get in there. Make some space, and then you take a jump ring. You'll probably need pliers for that too, to get the jump ring through. And then you can put the metals on. And get all different kinds of types, collect all different metals. And yeah, they stay on here pretty well. I like to also kind of just squeeze the jump ring with the pliers just to make sure it's on there extra good. But yeah, that's how you make a rugged rosary, a unbreakable rosary, not a rugged rosary, Seton rosary, as I like to call them, as I said. And yeah, so like, it's a fun process. It's easy to do. Once you get the hang of it, it's 15 minutes. You can get all kinds of different colors. Really, just so the possibilities are endless. The combinations, people like them, and they're very durable. As I've stated before, again, you don't want to go out testing it too much, but this is definitely a rosary that if you want to throw it at the bottom of your bag, go ahead. It will survive that, and when you go rustling out to get it, the beads won't be all over the place. And yeah, so fun thing to do. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I hope you guys can learn how to do this too, and maybe you make some friends as I did. Very enjoyable, good hobby to have, good skill. Thank y'all for watching.